Donald Trump's reckless DEI nomination of Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense is becoming more and more dangerous by the day. And all Pete Hegseth continues to do is prove out why he should never have been nominated and why he's not fit for the position. In this breaking story, you will not believe what he just did, but also his attitude and reaction towards them. I'm going to show you that in a few seconds. But let's remember what Pete Hegseth himself said about Joe Biden when it came to classified material. Take a quick listen for me.
DOJ and FBI seems happy to take the word of Biden's lawyers.
And by the way, who else has been with all those papers? Maybe you have 1,000 places you need to go now, depending on how many hands touched them.
Yeah, I mean, he is the president of the United States, which does create complications. But it also increases the urgency. If the top man in the job handled classified documents this flippantly, you're the president of the United States, as was stated earlier by Governor Sununu. If at the very top there's no accountability, that's the two tiers of justice that exist.
Yeah, they always want to discuss prosecution and consequences, but they never want to take them on themselves. And in this breaking story, you won't believe what Pete Hegseth said about his own actions. I'm going to show you in a second. Take a quick listen to what the information about the mistake he made is. Holy crap. Listen. Hegseth said to have shared attack details in second signal chat. The defense secretary sent sensitive information about strikes in Yemen to an encrypted group chat that included his wife, brother, people familiar with the matter said. The previously unreported existence of a second signal chat, which Mr. Hegseth shared highly sensitive military information, is the latest in a series of developments that have put his management and judgment under scrutiny. Unlike the chat in which the Atlantic was mistakenly included, the newly revealed one was created by Mr. Hegseth. It included his wife and about a dozen other people from his personal and professional inner circle in January, before his confirmation as defense secretary, and was named Defense Team Huddle. The people familiar with the chat said he used his private phone rather than his government one to access the signal chat. The continued inclusion following Mr. Hegseth's confirmation of his wife, brother, and personal lawyer, none of whom had any apparent reason to be briefed on operational details of a military operation as it was getting underway, is sure to raise further questions about his adherence to security protocols. And with that said, when questioned by the media about it, this is our Secretary of Defense's response in this breaking story. Here it is.
What do you want to say, sir, about the signal chat controversy?
You know, what a big surprise that a few leakers get fired and suddenly a bunch of hit pieces come out from the same media that peddled the Russia hoax. Won't give back their Pulitzers. They got Pulitzers for a bunch of lies. Pulitzers for a bunch of lies. And on hoaxes, time and time and time again. And as they peddle those lies, no one ever calls them on it. See, this is what the media does. They take anonymous sources from disgruntled former employees, and then they try to slash and burn people and ruin their reputations. Not going to work with me, because we're changing the Defense Department, putting the Pentagon back in the hands of warfighters, and anonymous smears from disgruntled former employees on old news doesn't matter. So I'm happy to be here at the Easter egg roll with my dad and my kids, because, you know, this is what we're doing it for. These kids right here. This is why we're fighting the fake news media. This is why we're fighting slash and burn Democrats. This is why we're fighting hoaxsters. This group, this group right here, full of hoaxsters that peddle anonymous sources from leakers with axes to grind, and then you put it all together as if it's some news story. And when we know it, we know exactly what it is. So I'm really proud of what we're doing for the president, fighting hard across the board, and I'm going to go roll some Easter eggs with my kids. Thank you very much.
Have you spoken to the president?
I have spoken to the president, and we are going to continue fighting on the same page all the way.
Don't you just love it? Don't you just love it? What are you doing here talking to me in front of my children? Oh, I don't know, man. You're the Secretary of Defense of the United States of America. That's called a public position. Understand? That means when you're in public, you're fair game, you clown. And on one hand, he wants to talk about a few, leakers who were fired, but then he blames it on the mainstream media. Lies, hoax, Russia. Sounds like a really familiar playbook. And this is never going to stop. This is why in 2026, there has to be a massive blue wave, because these folks have got to go. in a real hurry. Something really bad is going to happen. So far, something really bad in terms of military classified material and operational mistakes haven't severely cost this country yet. But this clown being in charge, at some point, it will happen, because it's just odds against with all the moving parts globally that we have that relate to the job of the Secretary of Defense. Pete, wait a second, I need another shot, Hegseth. You guys hang in there. Try to keep enjoying your lives. Stay frosty.